Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're tackling a very specific frustration.
Mm.
You know, that awkward middle ground where you've outgrown the grainy laptop webcam.
But you definitely do not have the budget or the square footage for a professional broadcast truck.
Exactly, that prosumer gap. It's a really tricky place to be.
It really is, yeah.
So we've pulled the specs on a piece of hardware that claims to fill that void. We are looking at the Zenty ZT-154 PTZ camera today.
And looking at the listing from HDTV Supply, the mission here seems to be combining high-end glass with some serious networking brains.
Right, and just to frame this, we aren't talking about a simple USB plug-and-play device.
No, definitely not.
This is about moving into the realm of professional broadcasting equipment, where the goal is solving bandwidth constraints and, getting rid of that rat's nest of cables.
Let's start with the high-end glass part.
Yeah, the sheet highlights 20x optical zoom, which sounds impressive. But then my eyes drifted down to the sensor resolution, 2.07 megapixels. I have to play devil's advocate here. My smartphone has 48 megapixels. Why would anyone pay for a dedicated camera with only 2?
I'm glad you caught that because it's probably the single biggest misconception in video hardware.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Your phone has 48 million tiny pixels crammed onto a fingernail-sized sensor. This Zenty uses 2 megapixels because that is the exact math required for native 1080p resolution.
Oh, so it's a one-to-one match.
Precisely. The pixels are physically larger, which means they capture light much better, and that 20x optical zoom is the other half of the equation.
Right.
When you zoom on a phone, you are usually just digitally cropping and destroying the image. Optical zoom means you are physically moving the glass lens to get closer to your subject.
So you keep every bit of that 1080p quality at 60 hertz, even if you are shooting from the back of an auditorium.
Exactly. You don't lose anything.
Okay, so the hardware holds up. The source material also mentions advanced ISP processing. Is that just a fancy way of saying it adjusts the contrast?
It is a bit more sophisticated than that.
Okay.
ISP stands for image signal processing. Think of it as a darkroom built right into the camera's chip.
Built right in.
Yeah, before the video even leaves the device, algorithms are analyzing depth and color rendition to make the image look vivid and three-dimensional.
So it's trying to perfect the image before compression even happens.
Exactly.
Speaking of the image leaving the device, this is where the alphabet soup gets a bit thick. We see the standard HDMI Type A and 3G SDI ports, which I expect.
Right, standard stuff.
But the big selling point here seems to be the Ethernet port and NDI. For the uninitiated, can we break that down?
Sure. NDI stands for Network Device Interface. It is a massive shift in how we do video. Traditionally, you needed a dedicated video cable running to a switcher.
And now?
NDI lets you send high-definition video and audio over a standard local network using just that RJ45 Ethernet port.
So the same cable that connects it to the network carries the video feed. That sounds convenient, but doesn't high-def video absolutely crush a network?
It certainly can, which is why the brain of this camera matters. The specs list support for both H.264 and H.265 video compression.
Why does it matter which one I use?
Efficiency, mostly.
Yeah.
H.265 is the successor to H.264. It can deliver the exact same video quality at roughly half the bitrate.
Half? That's huge.
Yeah. If you are setting up a stream in a venue with less than ideal internet bandwidth...
Which, let's face it, is basically every venue ever.
Right, exactly. Switching to H.265 keeps the motion fluent and clear without choking the network.
That is a lifesaver for field setups. But here is the feature that really surprised me. The RTMP push mode.
Ah, yes, the push mode.
Usually I would plug a camera into a computer running OBS, and the computer sends the stream to YouTube or Wowza.
Right, that is the traditional workflow. But the Zenty unit has the encoder built in. RTMP push means the camera talks directly to the streaming media server.
You can literally bypass the computer entirely. The camera itself is the broadcaster.
It is. That removes a massive point of failure. If your laptop crashes, the stream does not die.
But what about audio? Are we relying on some tiny, tiny microphone built into the casing?
Thankfully, no. It has a 3.5 millimeter audio input. You can take a feed from a soundboard using AAC, MP3, or PCM audio coding and feed it right into the camera.
Which keeps the audio and video synced perfectly at the source.
Right.
Now, control. It is a PTZ, pan, tilt, zoom. Do I need to buy one of those expensive joystick controllers?
You can if you want to. It supports RS-232 and RS-485 serial ports for legacy setups. But because it is networked, you can also control it via a web browser.
Meaning you could technically be in a different building aiming the camera via a web interface.
Exactly.
It sounds incredibly robust, but complex network setups are notorious for being finicky. I notice HDTV Supply offers a pretty heavy-duty safety net.
They do. A 5-year Zenty warranty is standard for them, but the lifetime technical support is the real key.
For sure. When you are dealing with IP addresses and byte rates, having a human expert to call is invaluable.
It really is.
So if we zoom out, pun fully intended, the Zenty ZT-154 isn't just a lens.
Not at all. It bridges the physical world of optics with the digital efficiency of the network. It's a self-contained broadcast node.
Here's a final thought for you to mull over. If a camera like this can handle its own advanced compression, push its own stream direct to the server, and be controlled remotely over the web,
Yeah.
how much longer will we need external encoding hardware for professional-grade live streams? Are we reaching a point where the studio essentially disappears and all we're left with is the lens? Thanks for listening to this deep dive.